Thank you so much, Nada. All right, for more, I want to discuss now with Firuzeh Mahmoudi. She is the director of United for Iran, a global network for the country's human and civil rights. Firuzeh, so good to see you again. So, hacking of the television broadcast, is that at all threatening to the regime?
Absolutely, it is threatening. Their own base watches that. So when their own base will feel like their vision, their power is crumbling, it will have effects on them for sure. And what we're seeing in the country is unprecedented. As it was mentioned, it's unprecedented to have a protest that is so unified in its voice, that it's diverse, it's geographically diverse throughout the country. We are seeing southern Tehran, the poor area, rising up for the first time, and it's the fourth week. We have never had a protest that has lasted this long since the revolution.
And so while in the fourth week now, and it seems the protests are only growing, they're intensifying, and you still have the government that now says, you know, that they will arrest people and that no one will be released without a trial. That doesn't seem to be intimidating in any way the crowds. Why is that?
I think that people are fed up and they're demanding change. They are saying that also because they're losing control and they know it. The diversity of the resistance and the amount of resistance is something that that's unprecedented as well. We're seeing general strikes in Tehran, in the Kurdish region in particular. We are seeing women still not wearing their hijab in larger groups during protests, as well as walking individually throughout the city. We saw that one of the phone companies was also hacked yesterday, where we don't know the numbers, but perhaps in the millions, SMS messages were sent out with a location and time of a protest. We're seeing high school girls and junior high school girls chanting and shooing out their government officials who work in there as principals or other officials at their universities and at their institutions. Graffitis all over the wall. It's to the point that the security forces are also bringing out kids to be on their side. So they are being heavy hitters with what they're saying because their back's completely to the wall.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about kids. At least two 16-year-old girls have died. You know, the government saying that they fell to their deaths from rooftops, but other people, you know, believe otherwise. Their bodies showed signs of beating, and of course, all of this started after the mysterious death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. If we're talking about the numbers of 185 deaths thus far with these protests, are you worried that the number is going to get even higher?
That's a number that we know of folks who have been, and people who have been confirmed. That's all we know. So it's definitely likely more than that. And 19 of them, as you mentioned, were kids. There are so many young women and young men. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And as a mother, I watch these kids who are the same age as my kid, and it's just the bravery and the sadness is really overwhelming. And we also see defiance by the family members. So Nika Shah Karimi, as you mentioned, was killed. And they took in her aunt and uncle and they interrogated them. They made on national TV, they forced them to go on and give this crazy story about she falling from a suicide to the ground. And regardless of that, and knowing what may come after her video, Nika's mother went on and made a video that's been released for 8 minutes detailing exactly what happened. That none of her body was not touched. It was only her skull. And it's absolutely so inspiring and so heartbreaking.
I mean, this is an incredible moment in Iran. The world is watching. You know, what message?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what message do you believe this movement is getting through? I mean, because for whatever restraints and all the restraints that the Iranian government is imposing, this message is resonating. It is out there, and you know, these photographs, these pictures, women cutting their hair, the photographs of those who have died, I mean, that's resonating in a very big way. Ultimately, what do you believe? How influential is this movement?
I think the movement speaks for itself. It's 4 weeks going. It's been on the international stage. We've seen solidarity, acts of solidarity, big and small, by government officials, by prominent individuals, by citizens. There was an international day of action last weekend with hundreds of thousands of individuals, Iranians and non-Iranians, in the streets. And I think their message is clear, and the bravery is for the world to see, and everyone's inspired and hoping that their demands will be met. And I think those of us outside have to continue playing our part. I remember my organization started after the 2009 uprising, and I remember Iran was in the media every single day until Michael Jackson died. We have to keep this in the media, and individuals can continue showing their active solidarity in every way, that in the creative ways that people have shown. Talk to your trade unions, your representatives, your student unions, make videos, whatever you can do. Reach out to the various NGOs, human rights NGOs working in this area, and support them. Now is the time.
Yeah, it is extraordinary, as is your work. Firuzeh Mahmoudi, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much for your time.
Still